it's time for the Darius Matthews Show. Without further ado, Mr. Big Stuff himself, Darius Matthews.
You know, I never get tired of hearing that intro. I mean, mainly because I created it myself.
Yeah, I guess so. That might be my favorite part.
Yeah, I guess so. Eddie Murphy. I love that movie. You ever seen Goldfinger?
Uh-huh.
It's hilarious. Anything he was in was hilarious except for Meet Dave, and then the last 5 movies he made, he just lost it. But anyway.
He can only do so much to carry a team.
I guess. Only so much. I guess play every character in every movie. I mean, that's the only way he can do it.
Pretty tough.
But, so last week, we had a pretty good show. We had the two-peat in here. We had Hayden and Braden Peterson. And we witnessed Hayden and Braden not being very good friends. They were trying to influence me to buy a game that I really should not be buying. And the sad part is that influence is still ringing in my ear.
Yeah.
I haven't bought it yet, but I'm debating it. I'm debating buying this game.
I think when you look back at it, it'll be a good purchase. I mean, right now, yeah, it jumps out as a little bit of money. But in the long run, you're going to have that stuff. I mean, the way I look at it, the way my mom always told me when I'm buying things, if you will wear it the number of days as dollars it costs, it's good. So if you're buying a pair of shoes and they're $70, if you'll wear them 70 times, you got your money's worth.
True.
If you're going to at least look at that game or look at some of that memorabilia 150 times, it'll be worth it. I mean, you're going to do that in a single year, let alone in the next 40 years.
Yeah, I'm going to get my money's worth.
I mean, Mama Pete didn't raise no idiot.
That's true.
I was the closest one she raised to an idiot, but I'm not quite there yet.
Nah, man, you're a genius.
So
I think
the dollar method, that's what she taught me.
The dollar method.
If you can wear it as many times as the dollars you spend on it, buy it.
So then that means my uncle has to wear every pair of Jordans in his closet 200 plus times.
Absolutely. Or why are you buying them? If you're,
I asked him the same question.
Exactly.
Man,
they all look nice, but why are you going to just hang them up in a closet? For me,
that's what he does.
I'll wear my shoes ragged. I mean, I'll wear them to point people like, yo, do you need $7? I can help you get some new shoes.
Get you some new shoes,
no, dude,
man.
These are good. They still fit my feet. That's why I want them.
Right, and they're still comfortable.
So, yeah.
Right.
Dollar method.
Like my Roches, I bought some all-white Roches. They're still pretty white. I mean, a dingy white. I mean, I've had them for almost 2 years, so, I mean, they look good for having them for 2 years. But anyway, speaking of looking good, Dixie State Athletics looking really good right now, especially Dixie State softball. They just beat everybody in the West Regional 1, I believe is what it's titled, or 1 West Regional, however it was phrased. But they beat Sonoma State twice, and they beat Western Washington, shutting Western Washington out.
Western Washington was the 8 seed. Was that? Remember when we called that last week and I said I could see these guys beating number 1 seed?
You did.
It just takes whoever hits the ball the best.
But that's why you're the guru.
That's why I do what I do.
That's why you do what you do, because you know what's happening.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Just a little bit. Or sometimes you just know all things.
Yeah. We're going to stick with the first one.
But, again, Dixie State balling out, man. Sonoma State, they beat them twice. The first time 5-4, second time 7-4. And to my understanding, at least from the news updates I was getting, Bailey Gaffin was highlighted in one of those wins, winning the game with some RBIs.
An RBI walk to win it, a walk-off. So that's a great at-bat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Gaff's been doing it all year. She doesn't lead the team in hits for nothing. As soon as she got up, I was watching the live street. I was like, it's over. Like, this is Bailey Gaffin's time. She's either going to get a hit and end it, or she'll walk and do it. She did it.
Right.
So that's if I was Coach Simpkins, that's exactly who I want to be up to the plate with a chance to win it.
I feel like anybody in that lineup, in that situation, I feel like it's hard to choose from. It's like, well, Coach, who do you go to in that situation? If I'm Coach Simpkins, I'm like, I don't know. I have so many good hitters on my team. I have so many batters batting above 300 right now. I don't know who I could go with. I feel like I could trust anybody in that situation. But again, like you said, Bailey Gaffin, that's hands down something you want in that situation. Somebody you want in that situation.
The reason I choose Gaff is she's got the quickest hands.
Right.
So I can count on her to put a ball to the right side and score my run from third, unless there's 2 outs. Even with 2 outs, I still want her. But with 1 out and the defense in, I would rather have my second base or first base trying to make a throw home, because they don't throw the distance as well as often, rather than a shortstop or third base coming firing home, because they're used to having to rocking that ball out.
That's true.
So Bailey Gaffin's my choice there, and I mean, she's been clutch all year. She's done it a couple times.
And rightfully so.
So Dixie State, once again, they're going to Humboldt State.
Yep.
Humboldt is 41-13 overall in the season, and they've won 7 of their last 8. They also swept through their half of the region to get where they're at.
Riding high right now.
But one thing, I mean, you just don't get a lot of teams like Dixie State. Your team is averaging .331.
Yeah.
Right now, Humboldt State has 3 players who are .345 or better.
Wow.
Only 3. But Dixie State's entire team average comes out to 331. So hitting the ball, Dixie State has a huge advantage.
Right.
But where Humboldt State gets dangerous is their senior pitcher, Madison Williams. She leads the Lumberjacks in the pitcher circle, logging a 1.7 ERA with 249 strikeouts in 197 innings.
How many strikeouts?
249 strikeouts. She's striking at least one batter out every single inning she's pitching.
Yeah.
And some have 2. So there's 58 innings where she's got two strikeouts. And every single other inning she's ever pitched in this year is a strikeout in the inning.
So she's going to be tough to hit on.
She doesn't. I mean, they were winning their games 4-1, and then I think they had like a 1-0 win, and then a 5-1 and a 5-2. So teams are not putting up a lot of runs on the defense. No. One, because the pitcher is striking out half your lineup every inning. Every game she's getting at least 7 strikeouts.
Right.
So there's 7 of your outs gone. So now you got to work with the other 14 and figure out. You'll probably figure at least half of those get out.
Right.
So on your other half, the other 7 batters, you got to hope someone gets a hit, gets in scoring position, and then someone gets another hit to move them.
Right.
So you're going to be chasing some serious runs in this game. Brooklyn Beercher's going to have to be on.
Oh, yeah.
Alexis Barkwell came in, got a great save, and she's going to probably have to be needed. But if Dixie State can jump on their pitcher early, we'll be good to go. I like their chances.
Well, I like their chances, too, especially given the history that Dixie and Humboldt have. Dixie's 5-1 all time against Humboldt. Every game that I've witnessed them play Humboldt, it was always a close win, though. It was never really a just absolute blowout, because Humboldt's a team you have to respect, regardless. And I think, it's gonna be tough for Dixie to pull it out, but this is a tough team of girls, tough group of girls. And, you want to put any team up against a pitcher who's got 249 strikeouts, I think Dixie State is your best bet, especially averaging 300-plus as a team on the season.
Yeah, they've got plenty of players. I think they have
they can do it.
Last time I looked at the stats was the game we announced. We had 6 players above 350. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they got plenty of people right there pushing that 400 border. I mean, you got Janessa Bassett still above 400.
Right.
You had 2 or 3 players right at 390s. I mean, they've got a team that is offensively terrifying. As well as you get on base, you're going to have an automatic second because people are still on bases. Janessa's at 40 on the year.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, she's still in a bag almost every game she plays.
Oh, yeah.
So,
if it was illegal, she'd be serving a life sentence times 10.
Yeah.
But speaking of Janessa Bassett, looked through the other night, and 3 people earned D2 Conference Commissioners Association All-West Region honors. So you had on the first team Janessa Bassett, and then Bailey Gaffin and Jessica Gonzalez. They earned second-team honors. It's Janessa's 3rd consecutive honor on the first team in this award, and it's Jessica Gonzalez's 2nd and Bailey Gaffin's 1st. So not to mention, the 9 honors that we had going in to the regionals, and then you tack on these during the regionals. I mean, these awards just rack up for Dixie State. I mean, as a coach, you got to be proud because, your players earned those awards. They worked hard for it, but you played a part in that.
Yeah, you put them in the right positions.
Yeah. Your signature's all over that. So, I mean, as a coach, I think that would be refreshing and reassuring as, oh, man, I'm doing something right.
Absolutely. And I think he's doing something right. I mean,
he is.
No one can complain there.
No.
You go and sweep through regionals, and hopefully they can get 2 wins. Mm-hmm. Once again, they start tomorrow afternoon. There is live video if you go to Dixie State's athletic page. Mm-hmm. Click on the softball, click on the Humboldt game. The live video will be there. Go out and watch them, support them from a distance.
Yep.
If you can't be there. There's also audio if you just want to listen, because watching makes you too nervous, whatever happens. I know with my little sister, it's harder to watch than I can just listen. Oh, my
gosh, yeah.
But
I'd rather listen.
It was much worse watching my little sister all weekend last weekend as she played for the state championship in Utah. And, man.
She got her ring, though, didn't she?
Second one in 3 years, so she's heading out on top.
Wow. That's wonderful. I wish I could rock some hardware in my finger. Never got to.
But Thursday, Friday, and then the IF game Saturday. But hopefully that IF game turns into the Dixie State team traveling home for some more practice for the national championship.
For the national champion? Man.
The last time they played in this, though, they did lose the first one and then rallied off 2 straight. Mm-hmm. So it's not over. Once again, if you lose the first one, Dixie State's been there. They've done that before.
And they got a lot of experience behind them, and they got a lot of zeal behind them. I'll use the word zeal. These girls, they don't give up on anything. They fight.
No, the game they could be down 7 runs going into the bottom of the 7th, and they still think they got a chance. So.
Well, we saw the baseball team moving into them. They came back from 12 runs in the game and won the game. Yep. So, I mean, both teams, they fight.
Dixie State, there's just no give up. There's no quit.
Trailblazer is the perfect name. I think it was the perfect name to give to the athletic department and the school as a whole, because truly, I just feel like since we've taken on the name, we really have started blazing trails. I mean, softball, they were blazing trails a long time ago.
Yeah, softball started the trailblazing.
They did. And we're just following suit now. And I think everybody's jumping on board, and baseball right along with them. And, 9 must be a magic number because we had it was the 9th consecutive time that they got to the regionals for softball, 9 honors for softball, and now 9 honors for baseball as well.
And I feel like some of those baseball guys might have been cheated a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I mean, Hilty and File were both lights out from the mound.
When I saw second
and they
team
go
there,
second team. That was shocking to me as well. But once again, great for Trey and Drew, as well as the other 2 on first team, right? Is there 4 of them?
Trey Camachi, Drew McLaughlin, Tyler Baker, and Tyler Mildenberg all got first team.
Yeah, Mildy's.
Oh, yeah.
And second base, that game we called together. Oh, no, I was calling with Donald. But Mildenberg was making play after play after play. Well-deserved, all around right there. Great group of athletes that have been doing it for Dixie State for quite a while if you look at Trey and Drew.
Shoot, you could even put 6 on the first team.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Mason Hilty and Dylan File from the mound were both
incredible.
Lights out. So there must be some other great pitchers out there that earned the pitching honors for the first team.
Right.
Which is understandable. I mean, it's not Dixie State's first team. It's the Pac-West first team.
Pac-West.
Second team is not a bad honor to receive.
No, not at all.
So Dylan File, Mason Hilty, and the others. Go ahead and name
Jake
them off.
So, like you said, Mason Hilty and File. And then you had Bryce Feist, who had an incredible year. Jake Davison, incredible. You always talk about him. Not only is he a smart baseball player, but he's a businessman as well. Got his own clothing line going. Well-rounded young man. And then you got Logan Porter. I call him the heavy hitter. Logan Porter he leads the team in home runs, I believe. I don't know how many he has right now, but last time I checked, he had 8, closing in on 9. So I know that he's the Dixie State Bomber. So he definitely deserves some sort of award this year. All those players very deserving. I think, they all I think even more players for Dixie State could have got awards as well. Maybe even had more than 9. There's a few people that could have, I think. But, it doesn't always work out that way. Like Miles Bice. I thought Bice definitely could have gotten an award out there
Miles
playing outfield.
All over the place out there.
Everywhere. Looked like a DB catching interceptions out there in the outfield. So, I mean, but still, to have 9 people on your team again, like I said with softball, makes you feel like you're doing something right as a coach. So, I mean, I go home at the end of the night. Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn, but if I'm a coach, I'm patting myself on the back a little bit.
Yeah, you just put four players on a first team in a Pac-West conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy to do.
No.
Then you turn around and put 5 more on the second team.
Right.
You got 9 players on your team earning Pac-West honors. Like, that's huge on recruiting too.
Right. It's monstrous.
Like, hey, someone is doing something right here. Whether it's the athletic trainers, the coaches, the players, like the atmosphere. This is where you want to go.
Right.
If you're going to play softball or baseball, Dixie State is one of the best schools in the state to go do it.
Right. And that all-conference stuff, it brings in huge recruits. I mean, this year for football, it was like the first time we've had more than 4 or more than 3 players on the all-conference list. We had 6 or 7 this year. Me and 2 other people made the second team, and then we had 3 other people make the first team. So, I mean, it's huge. Yeah,
it definitely helps. And, I mean, winning games doesn't hurt either, and that's something that all Dixie State sports have been doing this year.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's winning games. Trailblazing. So speaking of blazing trails, number 3 Dixie, they're going to face number 4 UC San Diego this week. I mean, probably a tough game playing at Azusa. It's going to be a tough game, but again, I've been talking to the baseball team a lot this year. They used to live at the same apartments I did. Talking to Jerome, a couple of those guys, they think they have a really good shot at getting to the ship this year, and I think they do too. And UC San Diego not going to be an easy game, but I can see Dixie State pulling out of this one.
Well, Mason Hilty and Dylan File, chance from the mound to kind of earn their stripes, really.
Oh, yeah.
Say, hey, we were first team.
Yep.
Don't forget it.
Make some noise.
So, coming from the second team, here we are.
Here we are.
So, I think they got a chance. That's where it all starts right there.
That is.
Defensively. Offensively, you got the 2 of the all-time greatest Dixie State batters in your lineup when Trey Camachi and Drew McLaughlin.
Right.
You're going to have to – they'll do something. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Like I said, I knew Trey Camachi was – I knew he was that guy when he took 15 pitches in a row.
Yep.
I knew he was that guy. I was like, okay, this guy's for real. He doesn't quit. He keeps going. And all those pitches were foul balls.
Yeah.
How do you connect with the ball 15 times in a row is my question, because I can barely connect 1 out of 30 attempts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I can't even connect with a golf ball. Crying out loud. Won't even go there. But anyway, moving on from Dixie State. So, again, make sure you check both teams out this week. Starting postseason play for baseball, softball, they're already knee-deep in it, trying to move forward, trying to get back to that national championship. I think we called it this year. I think we said that they had a chance to get back, and they looked a lot like the team that had already been to the national championship. To me, they look a lot like that team.
Both teams, both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Softball and baseball.
Oh, yeah.
So good luck to the girls and the boys out there this weekend.
Definitely.
Go give it.
Seattle Seahawks showing interest in Colin Kaepernick. In your opinion, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because in my opinion, it's great.
I think it's a good thing. I think they're a team that has no backup quarterback.
Right.
Colin Kaepernick doesn't want to play backup quarterback. That's probably one of the reasons he's not been talking to as many teams as he could have been.
Right.
Let's not say a lot of teams don't want him, but a lot of teams don't want him to be their starter.
Right.
He wants to be a starter in the NFL. He won't start in Seattle as well.
Right.
But Russell Wilson has been known to be injured for a game or two at a time. And those are games you can't afford to just give up. Like last year, I don't think they win often when Russell Wilson's not in the lineup.
Right.
So if you can go from Russell Wilson and then all of a sudden grow 6 inches in human and 9 inches in hair,
right,
and get Colin Kaepernick and not lose any speed or cannon,
right,
that's a great fit because that's just he is Russell Wilson is Colin Kaepernick but shorter, and not quite as fast. Maybe right. I feel like Kaepernick still got a step just because he's so much longer.
He's longer,
but the playmaking decision is about the same. I mean, Colin Kaepernick, let's not forget, he did not have a terrible year last year. He was on a terrible team. His numbers were better than Drew Brees.
Right.
Drew Brees is the passing king of all.
And he played all
football.
season.
Yeah.
Kaepernick didn't play all season.
Exactly. He had to be behind Blaine Gabbert. So, if you're looking at me and telling me that Colin Kaepernick is behind Blaine Gabbert, then I already know that you're crazy.
Right.
That's not a comparison right now.
Not at all.
Colin Kaepernick's so much more versatile. I think it's a great spot for him, especially with all the people that run their mouth on that team. He's not going to be alone for standing up for something he believes in. I mean, you got Richard Sherman, you got Michael Bennett.
Man.
These dudes that kind of stand up and really aren't afraid to speak their mind and do what they think.
Right.
And I think he'll fit there.
Yeah, what better team to fit into? I mean, around the league, the NFL is, I've noticed it's a lot of do as I say, not as I do type organization.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
that's the truth. And a lot of these NFL teams, you have guys, like Ray Lewis that would speak out on things, but that's because Ray Lewis was missing a bolt in his head anyway.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys in the NFL now, they're afraid to say anything because they might lose their job. And that's kind of, I think, what the NFL is doing is let this be an example. Keep your mouth shut. And maybe not, but, you get what I'm trying to say. Colin Kaepernick wouldn't fit in anywhere else because of what he's doing, because of how he feels about social injustice. So going to Seattle, like you said, Richard Sherman, who doesn't bite his tongue for anything, Michael Bennett, who got a clothing line started off of a quote that he made about Tupac and Biggie, finding Tom Brady's jersey but can't find their killers. I mean, I think it's a perfect team to go to. And Michael Bennett, he's one of the players that's been advocating for it. And I took this quote, and it says, I think that Kaepernick getting the opportunity to be on our team would be really cool. It would be a really good place for him because you have a coach like Pete Carroll who is up for challenges like that. You have an owner who spends and gives back to the homeless, and you've got players on your team that give back to the community. You've got Russell Wilson who shows that our team is built around community. So this is a perfect place for him. And I completely agree with Michael Bennett on that statement because not only do you have outspoken players, you have a great coach in Pete Carroll who's dealt with situations like this before and had troubled players and knows how to get them to work. And then you got Russell Wilson, who I don't think there's a better leader for Kaepernick to be behind. I mean, maybe Tom Brady, but I mean, Russell Wilson is the perfect leader for Kaepernick to play behind or come in and take some reps.
And I just think even Russell Wilson is still even better than Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, either one of those two quarterbacks, just because of the style and the race.
Right.
Russell Wilson is another outspoken black African-American doing the things he needs to do. And going behind Tom Brady is just no, because Tom Brady can do whatever he wants and get away with it.
Right.
So Colin Kaepernick would not fit well behind him for that one reason. But going behind Russell Wilson, an outspoken, down-to-earth human. I mean, between him and Cam Newton, two of the greatest influences in youth sports right now are those two quarterbacks. So what better place than get Colin Kaepernick in there and let people realize that he wasn't trying to be a bad person with what he was doing.
No.
He wasn't trying to disrespect anybody in the military or anything like that.
Not at all.
He was trying to stand up for what this country is supposed to believe in.
Right.
And it just backfired on him, unfortunately.
Well, and I was talking to a friend today, and it's we live in a world of media perception. And you remember, as soon as he took a knee, immediately reports, Kaepernick hates America, this, that, and the other. I'm like, what? I'm like, y'all got all that from a dude taking a knee. I'm like, seriously?
You guys are reading way too far into it.
Yeah, come on now. Let's not go there. And then I'm tired of hearing people just like we talked about before. Like, this comment bothers me every time. Well, Kaepernick's style won't permit him to play it with any other team. Well, Kaepernick is this. He's a one-trick pony. He's a read option quarterback. Since when? Because last time I checked, he can get out of the pocket, he can stand in the pocket, he can run, and he has a cannon, and he can be very accurate at times. How is that a one-trick pony?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever really been a one-trick pony.
No.
Even in college, he wasn't just a single option quarterback.
No.
He's always been throwing the ball.
Always.
And the only thing is, what do you want from a quarterback? Quarterbacks are one tool players. What does Tom Brady do? He throws the ball extremely well.
Right.
Does he run?
Nope.
No, his longest run of his career might be like 19 yards. Fact check me. It's probably less.
Probably less.
He runs out of oxygen after 7. So I'm just saying, like, quarterbacks are not multi. They're not like little Swiss Army knives.
Right.
But Colin Kaepernick is.
He is.
I think that might be what scares people, is because now you got a guy that does stuff you've never seen a quarterback do.
Right.
And you're worried about it.
You're worried.
So I don't understand the argument when people tell me he can't play in another system. He can't play in this system. I'm like, why can he not play?
Why can't he?
He can throw. He can run. He does 2 things more than your quarterback that you have now does.
Right. He's more athletic than most quarterbacks. And let's not forget last year, Kaepernick had a better QBR than Carson Wentz. Yeah. That's not saying that, Carson Wentz is a bad quarterback, because he's not. Carson Wentz is great, but that's saying a lot.
But let's not forget, you're not even. No one's even thinking about signing this guy.
Right.
There are multiple teams in the league that you could put him on right now and make your team better right away. Like
immediately.
Phillip Rivers, no offense, but man, what have you done for San Diego?
Oh, don't even get me started on that guy. He's still on the team.
Yeah, he's still their starting quarterback for the last 47 years.
Yep.
And hasn't changed anything.
Anything at all.
He can't complete a pass. He can't.
No.
Well, he can complete a lot of passes. He can rack up some serious numbers. And
he can throw to Antonio Gates.
But what has he won?
Nothing.
When's the last time they made noise? Great numbers,
right?
But if you're not winning, why are you still there?
Well, when's the last time they made noise in the playoffs?
When's the last time they made noise in their conference?
Exactly.
The Raiders have gone from Super Bowl to rock bottom to back on top, and you've been sitting right between rock bottom and Super Bowl in nowhere land. Like you're just floating in a canoe in the middle of the ocean, waiting to drown.
Waiting to drown. Waiting for them sharks to
catch that. And the drowning moment is either going to be when Phillip Rivers leaves.
He got to go.
Or you come back. So, I mean, there's teams where Colin Kaepernick should be to be moving. At least Colin Kaepernick is going to bring a rowboat. He'll move that boat.
He'll move it.
Other than just sitting there. So, I mean, there's teams that are just not going to look past what he stands for and won't take him. And that's their own fault.
And that's what I'm saying. If you're going to say that Kaepernick is a one-trick pony, that he can only do this, he can only do that, he won't fit in any other system, okay, Cam Newton doesn't fit anywhere else then. Russell Wilson doesn't fit anywhere else then. I mean, for crying out loud, Aaron Rodgers doesn't fit in anywhere else then. All of those quarterbacks, they all do the same things. Big Ben isn't as fast anymore because he's huge Prescott. Ben now. Yeah, all those quarterbacks. You're telling me they only fit in one system? No way.
Look at all the teams that have been most successful. That's the kind of quarterback they have, besides Tom Brady.
Besides Tom.
But Tom Brady,
good old Tom.
Tom Brady and Belichick are just wizards.
They are. They're magicians. They know Harry Potter. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
They went to Gryffindor. I don't know what they're doing behind closed doors, but they got some magic going on. But again, I'm tired of hearing that Kaepernick isn't this, isn't that, when the numbers say completely different, and when his resume, his play tape says completely different. I've talked to so many people that, say these negative things about Kaepernick, and I'm like, well, I knew you 3 years ago when you were a Kaepernick fan. What happened all of a sudden? Because he took a knee? So now because of something that he did that goes against your character views, he's not a good player? I think character and play should be separated. And I said the same thing about Jameis Winston. Yeah, Jameis Winston was an idiot in college. He did some out of pocket, out of character things, but him as a player versus him as a person are two different things. Jameis was a really good college football player. Choices, not so much. Stupid choices. So you got to separate the two. And if you don't agree with Kaepernick's political stance, okay, you don't agree with that, but don't let that conflict with how good he is as an athlete.
You're trying to win games.
That's it.
Don't worry about what's changing lives. Like your job is to win, and if Colin Kaepernick can give you a better chance to win,
take him.
Than anybody on Cleveland Browns roster, why has he not been looked at there?
Right.
I don't understand it.
And
Colin Kaepernick should be in the league still. He is good enough to play in this league at the quarterback position.
Well, if Riley Cooper can get a bid to play on the team, Colin Kaepernick better be on the team. I mean, Riley Cooper came right out and said some blatantly racist stuff. Kaepernick didn't really utter a word. So, I don't know. But that's how I feel. And I think Seattle would be a great move for Colin Kaepernick. I hope he gets picked up by the Seahawks because I think, like you said, Michael Bennett and Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson, I think 3 great people who will be a good influence on Cam Newton. Look how they handled Marshawn Lynch, for crying out loud. You telling me they can't handle Cap?
Yeah.
Marshawn didn't even want to talk to the media. I'm just here so I won't get fined. No, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. He said that all the time. So I think Seattle, this isn't anything for them, and I hope that they take him. I think it would be a smart choice. He's the better option versus RG3. Don't take RG3. Take Colin Kaepernick. RG3, you get hurt too much. I try to defend RG3 so much, and I just look dumb because he just always proves me wrong. Always.
Yeah,
proves the doubters right.
He's impossible to – he was solid in college.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of people –
and his first year in the league.
that do that.
Oh, yeah. Though, am I wrong?
The best section of the year.
I love it. Every time I hear this song, I get excited. All right. So we're going to play the song a little bit, but then we're going to play a clip for a hot second. Just a snippet. Just a snippet. So you've seen Coach Popovich go off this week
Absolutely.
on Zaza Pachulia.
I did.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you the question and play a little bit of the clip, and then you can answer after. I think I have my synopsis on the case. But Coach Popovich went off on Zaza Pachulia saying that he's a dirty player and that whether he intentionally tried to hurt Kawhi Leonard or not, he was wrong. So the question, Hayden, for you and me is Popovich wrong? But we're going to play this real quick and let some of the listeners decide to.
For elbowing Patty Mills, the play where he took Kawhi down and locked his arm in Dallas and could have broken his arm. Ask David West, his current teammate, how things went when Jaja was playing for Dallas and he and David got into it. And then think about the history he's had and what that means to a team, what happened last night. A totally unnatural closeout that the league has outlawed years ago and pays great attention to it. And Kawhi's not there. And you want to know how we feel about it. You want to know if that lessens our chances or not. We're playing very possibly the best team in the league. We don't have to have it.
Okay. So that was just a little bit of how Pop reacted to the whole situation. Is he wrong for saying what he said about Zaza Pachulia and his reaction?
So I've had mixed emotions and mixed feelings about it all week after hearing it. And let's not forget, Popovich is still a human as well.
Right.
He was fired up. This was the end of the game, kind of on emotion, I think, because Popovich is a good dude.
Right.
And for him to go out and absolutely call a player out and say he's a dirty player, he deserves no spot in this league, seemed very un-Popovich to me.
It did.
So I think he was running on emotion there, but at the same time, it wasn't all emotion because it's facts. Like Zaza Pachulia has been in the wrong place in the wrong time and mixed up a few
Several
times
occasions
with multiple players, but he's not the only player in the league that does this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
The fact that he's clumsy. I mean, who is good enough with their feet and bad at the same time that he can put them right under Kawhi where Kawhi's going to land on one and roll the same ankle that's been bothering him.
Right.
Like, let's not give Zaza Pachulia more credit than he deserves for how athletic he is.
You can't plan that out.
I mean, he closed out awfully tight.
He did.
But he was closing out on the run, trying to get to the corner, and he's not agile by any means.
And
to be
he's
able to
a
stop,
big guy.
To be able to stop and stop. So when he did that second closeout, he did a second closeout, but he kind of, you've seen this with the ankle problem in the game too. He doesn't have the best ankles either, so he kind of stumbles and steps into Kawhi. But at the same time, it's Kawhi Leonard. If anyone else goes down on that, Steph Curry even thinks about falling down, he's getting 3 shots.
Right.
Kawhi got nothing. I don't know if they called the foul or not.
He did. He went to the
call
free throw line. He still shot the free throws after.
Okay. So he deserves the foul, but at the same time, it's a rule. They should looked at it and seen what they should have done. But I don't know. I don't know if he's wrong, but I think personally attacking one guy might have been wrong.
I'm gonna say he's right and wrong. Again, because I think he reacted off emotion. Your best player just got hurt. This is literally...
They were up 23.
Yeah, he's the only chance you have to beat the Warriors. He is.
And they were handling them.
Handling the Warriors. I don't know how. The Warriors upset me, but they were destroying the Warriors for a long time. And then Kawhi Leonard goes down, the Warriors make this comeback, and now Kawhi's not there for game 2, and they get destroyed.
Well, if you don't think it's a difference, the difference between the point that he went out till the end of game 2, the Warriors scored 197 points.
Yep.
The Spurs, 133.
33.
So, I mean, it's a huge difference. And I think that's what Popovich was. He's frustrated because
he's very frustrated.
No one gave us a chance to win this. And now that we're up by 23 points and my best player goes down and we lose game 1.
Yep.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. So I'm in a gray area there with
too.
Popovich. So the next one. Some sources say that Lonzo Ball might only do a workout for the Los Angeles Lakers. Is he wrong?
That's all he's going to do. That's all he'll work out for. That's fine. If that's where a kid wants to go,
God.
people are still going to draft him whether or not he works out for it.
Right.
So I think, and with the Lakers being the number 2 pick, I don't see why they don't go there.
Right.
But, I just don't see all the hype in Lonzo Ball. Maybe I just think of watching a few UCLA games.
He's a good player.
But, the team that's going to get a steal is if you're putting Josh Jackson teaming up with Devin Booker at the 4 spot with the Suns, that team is going to be good.
They'll be nasty, and they're already young. And, these young guns have some experience.
So if Jackson drops all the way down to 4, that's a huge steal for the Phoenix Suns.
A major steal.
In the draft. So Lonzo Ball, is he wrong? No, I don't really care what you do. I don't want to see you in the Laker purple because that's my team.
I say he's wrong. He gets on my nerves.
I hope we trade D'Angelo Russell, bring Paul George in, and then put Lonzo Ball at our point guard. I'll be fine with that.
Well, and I get doing what you want, and trying to get to the team that you want to play for. But, dude, go try out for another team. Go show the whole league what you're made of so that everybody's a believer and not just Magic Johnson. And besides, there's no guarantee you go to L.A. because, like you said, you could change up the lineup. But D'Angelo Russell is already a bigger point guard, and he's doing just fine in L.A.
Yeah.
So, Lonzo Ball, there's a chance you come to L.A. and you don't get no playing time right away. You're coming off the bench. I think he's wrong. I think he needs to try out for other teams. This isn't a guarantee, it's a possibility.
Well, this life is all about the people you know. And you're not going to give yourself any chances if you only work out for one team.
Exactly.
Even when you're Lonzo Ball, it's still not going to be a bad thing to not build enemies.
Right. So I think he's wrong. The next one, Joel Embiid said when the Sixers are good, that's when LeBron and the Cavaliers will fall. Is he wrong?
No, because it'll be about 10 years and LeBron will probably be done. So I think he's probably right.
He's right. LeBron will be retired by then. I agree with that. I think he's right. The next one, and this is my team, but I was disappointed when I heard this. Jonathan Hankins, defensive tackle for the Indianapolis Colts, said that the Colts will have the best defense in their conference and division in 2017. Is he wrong? And before you answer, I'm going to say, heck yes, he's wrong.
I would have been all right with him maybe saying his division. Not the whole side, though. Not the whole conference. Not the NFC or AFC. No way.
I wouldn't even say division. We got Houston.
Once again, Houston though is a team.
Man.
With J.J. Watt, they're great, but without him, you kind of wonder where they're going to be. So if he can stay healthy,
right?
If the Colts defense stay healthy, they might have a chance.
They have a chance. I don't know, and I'm a realistic Colts fan.
But do you want your players to have that positive attitude? This is back to the Lonzo Ball thing. This is the dad saying, "Hey, my son's the best in the world." And this is the Colts defense saying, hey, we're going to be the best in the world. Like, at least they don't have the mindset thinking, we're probably going to get run over all the place.
Get run over.
So I like the mentality. I like that he's staying positive, and I think it'll help build that defensive team. Like, hey, look, we got people that believe in us. Let's go do it.
But I don't want him to be like LeVar Ball and sign checks that you can't cash. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. The Colts defense, we are looking a lot better. We just signed Mingo, Marcus Hunt, and Jonathan Hankins inside, and we drafted a D tackle. So, I'm good with that. And we got Hooker playing free safety. That's great, but you got to take into account the Denver Broncos defense. You got to take into account Jacksonville's free agent pickups, the Raiders, and you got to worry about Houston if J.J. Watt's healthy. So I'm saying be realistic, but we do have a chance to do that. I don't know. I'm still going to say he's wrong. Spoke too soon.
They don't have a terrible schedule either, though.
No.
Not a lot of high-powered offenses they have to play two offense. So
it could result in shutouts. You never know. I'm going to say he's wrong for now, but hopefully he's right. The next one is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Is he right or is he wrong for calling the NBA's one-and-done rule a travesty?
No, it's a huge travesty. I absolutely agree.
I agree, too.
I wish more kids would stay and play ball and learn how to play it the right way. Because they come in and spend 2 or 3 years trying to figure out how to play before they really ever understand
the game of basketball.
Doing. There's a few people. Don't get me wrong. Kevin Garnett came out. Kobe Bryant came out. LeBron James. Like some of the biggest names in sports. But those are 3 or 4 players that came out. Look at how many rookies come into the year and into the league every single year from
Kwame Brown.
From one and done. So
Kwame Brown is horrible.
I think Kareem is absolutely correct. How much better would March Madness be with a bunch of sophomores and juniors on each team rather than freshmen after freshman after freshman?
Could you imagine if you had people in that class, the 2004 class, you had Carmelo, you had D Wade, you had Chris Bosh, you had LeBron James, you had all those players going at it in a Final Four situation or
so much more
a tournament.
Entertaining.
People are going to love to watch that. And the stupid one and done rule, stop looking at the dollar signs, man, and look at your ability to become
a human.
Yeah. And people are always like, well, there's a chance your senior year isn't that good. Man, forget them people. Go get your degree and learn the game of basketball. And I'm glad, football, I was glad I redshirted a year and then got to play 4 more years because I got smarter. I learned the game. I learned how to become an effective run-stopping defensive lineman. I learned how to do that. But if I would have had the talent to go the next year, you know what I mean? I'd have had talent, but would I have known the game?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the big difference there. So I completely agree with Kareem that it's a huge travesty. Definitely a travesty. And the last one. The Warriors will sweep the San Antonio Spurs without Kawhi Leonard. Am I wrong?
Without Kawhi Leonard, no doubt.
Right.
You saw what happened. The Warriors are too high-powered of an offense.
Right.
And especially if they get things going. I mean, game 1, Clay and Draymond had 15 points combined.
Right.
That's awful.
It's horrible.
And they still managed to pull it out because Kevin Durant and Steph Curry both put up 40 and 34 or something like that.
40 and 36, I believe.
So, once again, the Warriors should roll right through. Even if Kawhi comes back with that ankle, I still think the Warriors find a way to get it done.
Pull it out.
Because they played awful in the first quarter, first half of that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what led to such a huge hole.
Huge.
So,
well, that's all we got for Am I Wrong today. I think it was a pretty good segment. Pretty successful. I wasn't wrong today.
Not too many people wrong, that's right.
Not too many people wrong today, so it's pretty positive. So now moving into the lottery draft picks. NBA draft coming up here soon, and they've already announced who got the first 3 lottery picks. Number 1 being Boston, 2 L.A., and number 3 Philadelphia. Now, this is the first time ever in the common draft era that Boston has had the number 1 lottery pick.
And it's because it's not theirs.
Right.
I mean, you're the 1 seed in the East, and you got the best pick coming up.
Right.
So good for you.
Great for you.
I mean, do you take Markelle Fultz, or do you mess with Lonzo Ball's family and take him? Because that would be awesome. I would love it.
I would probably die of laughter if the Boston Celtics drafted Lonzo Ball. I mean, I would bust a gut.
It would be awesome if they just called up LA and said, hey, you guys want Lonzo? Because we want Markelle Fultz. You draft him, we'll trade him right straight across just to mess with the world.
Oh, my goodness.
But I think Markelle Fultz is your number 1 player. Playing at Washington, we just didn't see enough of him.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get to see what he's capable of.
I think he has a chance to be really good in the NBA.
And there's a ton of hype.
And he's big, he's physically strong, he's a physical basketball player, and he's aggressive. Like we talked about earlier on in a couple earlier episodes, Lonzo Ball, man, he need to put on some weight. He needs to get physically right for the NBA because that frail body frame, don't get me wrong, Stephen Curry's a thin guy. Kevin Durant's a thin guy, but they have that NBA strength. Lonzo, you don't got that yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. You're young, dude. Take some time. I say come back a year, but, obviously he's not. But
with the chance where he is at right now to go number 2 to the Lakers,
right,
where he wants to be his whole career, his whole life, go.
Go.
But if it was someone that's like maybe going 17th, 19th, somewhere down in the bottom of there,
right,
come back and play again. You're going against all younger kids now.
Right.
In the class that might not be as strong, and you bump your status.
Which I think Caleb Swanigan, my cousin, should go back for another year and get even better than what he was this year. I mean, yeah, maybe he gets picked up by a good team this year, but I still think he should come back another year and make himself an even bigger household name than he already is.
Yeah, if you're top 5, top 10, it's tough to decide. But after that, it's just like, man, maybe I want to go play for a coach that cares for me still.
Right, just a little bit.
So
I thought the funny comment was Magic saying that he still hates the Boston Celtics after losing the lottery pick to him. I mean, that's why I love Magic, because Magic's a true competitor. And Magic wants to win. He wants to win in all things, not just basketball, in life. He wants to win at all things. And I think, again, perfect acquisition for the Lakers in the front office. And I think Magic's mind is made up on Lonzo Ball. I think he wants Lonzo Ball. I think he wants Paul George too. But is Paul George and Lonzo Ball going to be enough to boost the Lakers? Probably not. Probably not right away anyway. Lakers need a big man. They need a couple of all-stars to revamp this team. Because D'Angelo Russell's a great playmaking point guard. You get a Paul George, and then you get maybe a big man. Bring Boogie Cousins to L.A. for crying out loud. I mean, probably won't happen, but I think you get some playmakers, the Lakers could be right back where they were. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Moving away from the lottery pick, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the NBA playoffs because this is the most relevant information right now and the most exciting information on TV. I mean, besides the NHL playoffs, but I told you I wasn't going to do that to y'all no more.
Yeah, that's a blessing for all of us.
Talking about hockey as if we are hockey extraordinaires.
I can't even skate.
I can't ice. Man, I thought I was the only one. Y'all, I feel so good about myself now. I'm not the only one that can't ice skate.
I hate that. Every time I go, I come home with a bruised tailbone. I swear. I'll get going down. Sooner or later, I'm just going to go into that Charlie Brown one. Whoop, 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 bop, gone.
You know what's sad? I still use those little 4-wheel skates, the two others.
Better balance, dude. I love that.
Can't do no rollerblades, man. All right, so moving on, Golden State Warriors, we just talked a little bit about it, but they just absolutely destroyed the Spurs in Game 2, 136-100. And not in any part due to Draymond's effort, not really due to Klay's effort, not really due to KD's effort. I mean, they provided points, but Steph, like they always say on ESPN, Steph making it look Steffordless. And he's been outstanding these first 2 games, all playoffs, really. And me personally, I think Steph is a man scorned. Because, let's be real, the first year that they won in the championship, Steph didn't have the greatest finals. Last year against LeBron, Steph didn't have the greatest finals or the greatest playoffs, and everybody's hating on him because he wasn't hitting threes like he should have been or like he was the year prior. This year, Stephen Curry has been a upset individual as far as stroking from 3 and as far as scoring. I mean, 40 in the first game, 26 or 29 in this last game. 6 for 9 from 3-point range.
And he went 15 in the first quarter. Like, when they needed it to start, he did it.
He did it.
He had 4 threes and then fouled on a 3 and made the 3 free throws in the first quarter for 15 points. And then he just said, hey, I'll take the back seat now, 14 points in the second half if we need it, or from the next 3 quarters, and that was good.
That's it.
He made 2 more threes. I mean, the West Conference Finals has always been where Steph Curry shows up. That's always been his best points per game, stat-wise, is the Western Conference Finals. So I think I'm going to be a firm believer if he can do it in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, you have to put, I don't know, for the Cavs, because we're already looking at the Cavs matchup right now.
Right.
The Celtics, don't get me wrong, we'll get there in a minute, but when the Cavs play the Warriors in the NBA Finals, it's going to have to come down to which guy is LeBron James going to stop.
Right.
Because the rest of your defense, LeBron, is just not there.
It's not.
When you bring Darren Williams in off the bench and try to have him stop somebody, you're like, okay.
He ain't got them knees no more.
Look out.
Not Kawhi. Kyrie
really,
doesn't
I mean,
either.
the Warriors are tough offensively.
Yeah.
The Cavs are just as tough offensively, but let's not forget the Warriors play defense, man.
They do play D.
They
play D.
Understand they gave up 100 points last night, whatever, but at 136-100, at that point, the second team's playing the entire fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
They can play D, so when they lock you up, and Draymond Green's got to get the best of LeBron James. If Draymond doesn't get thrown out of Game 6 last year, I think it's a different game.
I think so, too. They don't lose.
But let's not get it wrong. Draymond Green is going to have to be a huge piece here.
Huge.
Because he's going to have to spend the bulk of the time he's on the court on LeBron James.
Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with that.
If LeBron James starts settling for jumpers, they'll throw KD over there and see if he can't contest it with length. Mm-hmm. But they just have so many changes. But if KD is scoring, who's guarding him? You got to move LeBron. If KD's got LeBron's attention, you got Draymond, Klay, and Steph running around screens, getting open, looking
Who's
at
guarding
shots.
Them? Because Kyrie doesn't play any kind of defense.
No, Kyrie and Isaiah Thomas ought to be an awesome battle. So when we get there, that's my favorite topic. But the Warriors are right where they need to be this year. They're looking good, 10-0, fifth team ever to start there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Cavs will join them as the 6th team ever in a matter of 4 days.
4 days.
3 days.
Well,
tonight and then Thursday.
And what makes me excited to watch these Warriors play, Hayden, is they're a super team, this, that, and the other. But I mean, look at how they're performing right now. KD only had 16. Draymond had 13 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks. So he did his thing outside of scoring. And Klay Thompson only had 11 points. Steph had 29, and they still blow them out 136-100. And then you got Patty McCaw coming off the bench, and he's scoring 18 to 20 points. I mean, why I bring this up being excited is the scoring's not really great from the other All-Stars right now. But imagine what happens if Steph Curry keeps playing at the level he's playing at now, and Draymond and KD and Klay all put it together, and KD scoring his average 26, and Klay Thompson scoring, his, 22 points, and Draymond getting the double-double. You know what I mean? They're going to be a tough team to stop for Cleveland or anybody who comes out of the East. All right, and there goes my phone. Yeah, it's a grizzly bear.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
but
I'm a
I think
beast.
the biggest thing, another thing is how well they pass the ball. I mean, they had 39 assists on 50 made baskets last night.
Right.
That's unreal.
It is unreal. They pass the ball well.
And they don't care who scores. Like Kevin Durant, like you said, doesn't care. He goes for 38 or 36 one game, turns around and goes for less than half of that the next.
Right, the next.
So they're dangerously dangerously dangerous.
Well, and a number that stood out to me, 56% from the field, great night shooting, and then 48% from three-point range. But then you go to San Antonio, and San Antonio disappointed. And usually I don't like San Antonio anyway, but I'm disappointed in LaMarcus Aldridge. But I'll get to him in a second. The Spurs shot 37% from the field, 37 out of 100 shots. And then you move on to the three-point line, 34%. I mean, okay, you expect to usually see that maybe from a team, from three-point range. But from the field, that's terrible. That's a terrible night for a Popovich-coached team. And then LaMarcus Aldridge, 8 points. And I put it on the sheet. What in the world is going on with LaMarcus Aldridge? Because when he was in Portland, dude was balling. When he first got to San Antonio, dude was balling.
Well, he had one game where he didn't miss a shot, it seems like. He had like 12 for 12, and then finally he might have missed one of the
He had a Kelly Olynyk kind of game. I don't understand. This is a guy, when Kawhi Leonard goes down, okay, Tony Parker's old, washed. I'm sorry, he's getting washed up. Manu Ginobili's not the scorer he used to be. Patty Mills should not be your primary scorer. Danny Green should not be your primary scorer. LaMarcus, you got to get 20 and 10.
Although Patty played well last night.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But Patty shouldn't have to be that guy. LaMarcus Aldridge should be carrying the load.
Patty to be that guy plus Aldridge to do something.
Plus Aldridge.
Aldridge is one of those guys that just doesn't take his shot enough.
No, it's like he lost that confidence he once had in Portland. I don't know what it is. Like, do they need to bring Tim Duncan in to coach him every day? Does Tim need to sit next to him on the bench or something? I don't know what he needs, but he's got to figure it out. Because the Spurs aren't going to do anything if it's just Kawhi Leonard and Patty Mills.
And that's why I think they got to bring more players in next year. I mean,
have to.
Kyle Lowry's one of those guys I see going that way.
Manu and Tony Parker got to retire. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. They've been great for the Spurs organization. They got their rings. They brought championships to San Antonio. But I think they're hurting the team more than they're aiding the team at this point. It's kind of like Troy Polamalu in Pittsburgh at the end of his career. He was hurting the secondary more than he was helping it. Got to go. Got to go. Got to call it a career. Just like your rap career, Tony Parker, it's over. It's done. It's over with. So then we move on to Boston. Now, the performance that stood out to me was Kelly Olynyk. Now, this dude out of nowhere I haven't seen this dude play like this all year. He kind of looked like a knockoff Dirk Nowitzki last night. But, 10 of 14 shooting, 26 points in that game. Just had a great game. And then Isaiah Thomas had 29, so they both balled out. In that Washington game, Game 7.
Yeah, but the fourth quarter, Olynyk just he won it for him. Like,
he
out
did.
Of nowhere,
he came out of nowhere.
Olynyk single-handedly beat the Washington Wizards.
Hasn't done that all year long, but became the superstar.
And the only chance I saw of the Cavs losing a game was to the Wizards with the double attack of Bradley Beal and John Wall. But now it's going to have to come from the three-point shooting of the Washington Wizards, or of the Washington Wizards, of the Boston Celtics. Yeah, they're going to have to shoot lights out if they want to win.
Well, and then you look. In the fourth quarter, John Wall had this many points. 0 points, a fat goose egg. We've been pumping John Wall up all the show. All these shows. John Wall, we called him the best pure point guard in the East. We said that he is the best player in the Washington Wizards team, and he was. And Bradley Beal wasn't really carrying the load with John Wall, but Bradley Beal gets 30-plus points against Boston. John Wall only has 18 and doesn't do anything in the fourth quarter.
Let's not forget, John Wall didn't shy away from any shots in the fourth quarter. He just couldn't make them.
He couldn't hit anything.
I think that was the difference between, because they were both talking about who had the biggest collapse, James Harden or John Wall. To me, it's still James Harden.
Oh, yeah.
James Harden was in Game 6. He just quit shooting.
Yes. John
Wall said, I'm still the guy. I'm still going to take these shots. I just can't make one right now.
Well, past NBA players haven't been attacking John Wall. They've been attacking James Harden, though.
Yeah.
They said James Harden flat out gave up.
Well, that game was... He did.
It was a joke.
The only way they come back is if Harden gets going and going and going.
I
swear,
wasn't
going to happen.
If Harden wins that MVP and Russell Westbrook don't, I'm going to be upset because Russell Westbrook, you never saw him do that in any moment. Knowing that his team wasn't even as good as the Houston Rockets, Russell never gave up. He might have missed shots.
He did in one moment.
You think so?
And Steven Adams snapped him out of it. They were down 4, and Steven Adams at the free throw line. He makes one, and then between the free throws, he looks at Russ and says, "Where are you at? I'm going to miss this on purpose. You come get it." And Russ just says, "Oh, yeah." He walks up. They do it to perfection, turns around, ties the game, and they turn around and lose.
Right.
But at the same time, that was the one time he kind of gave up. Harden's was understandable. Like, you're getting blown out in your own building. This is embarrassing. Like, I want to get out of here as quick as possible. Mm-hmm. James Harden still had a phenomenal season. I still feel like he had the biggest impact on getting the Rockets to where they were for one team.
I don't know, man.
So I can't wait to see who gets
I'm
it.
still going with my man Russ.
I think it goes
with
either way. You're not wrong one way or another.
You're not.
But
You're
they both
not.
had. I mean, if it's purely on numbers based
It's got to be
stats,
Russ.
it's Russ.
Right.
He averaged a triple double.
Right.
But let's not forget, you got to win games.
You do.
This league is about winning anymore.
But he did carry a team to a 6 seed. I mean, and 6 is not impressive at all, but for it just being Russell Westbrook, that's pretty impressive.
But who did? I mean, both those guys have terrible players.
You're right. I mean, who's the big guy for Houston? Number 15. He has a weird last name.
Nene? No, Nene.
No, not Nene. But Nene was great. But I forget his name. I was just playing against him on 2K the other day.
I know who you're talking about. They can't shoot a free throw to save his
Yes,
life.
African guy.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but you got him, and then you got Eric Gordon, who faded away in the playoffs, 3-point champion. All of a sudden, can't hit a three. But that's and you're
So
right.
they both kind of played in the exact same position.
They did.
One got more wins, one got more numbers.
But I think the role players in Houston maybe were a little better. I mean, because you got Steven Adams, who's not really a primary scorer.
The role players in Houston just shot the ball. That was the difference. They
the
shot
role
the
players
ball
in OKC don't.
because neither team played defense. If the OKC had the if Russell had the shooters, he would have had the wins.
Right.
If Harden didn't have the shooters, he would have had the triple doubles.
Well, and I agree with that. Now, the question is, though, in this Boston series, A, is it possible for the King to be dethroned in this series? And B, are the Boston Celtics ready for a well-rested LeBron James?
He's been in 10 days or something like that.
Yeah.
10 days.
They ain't ready.
He hasn't sat that long since last summer.
Exactly. Christmas break. And he didn't even sit then. He was playing.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying that is it possible?
It's
it has
possible.
to be because
they're there.
anything can happen. We've heard
KG,
people say that.
anything is possible.
But to be honest, there's just the odds in Vegas of the Cavs losing have got to be like -1 in 9 million. Because there's just, and that's not we're losing a game. Saying this losing the series. If you're going to lose 4 times in a matter of 12 days,
Right.
and you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, you better have left 15 players home and you're playing with the ball boys.
Right.
Because there's no way they lose 4 times to the Boston Celtics. It's going to be the Warriors and Cavs.
It is.
In the championship. And
Again.
then that'll be a good matchup. People are favoring the Warriors to just absolutely run away with it. And I just don't see it.
I don't see it running away.
I refuse to bet against LeBron James anymore.
It's going to be a good series. And and that's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to bet against the King now.
I feel like
I
LeBron
love Steph.
James is
Steph's
finally,
my guy.
If LeBron James wins this one,
Yeah.
go ahead and put him in the same line of sentences of top players with Michael Jordan.
I will gladly
in
say
my
that.
book.
If he beats this Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green team,
Give
I'm
him
done.
the go.
I'm done arguing.
I'll give him the go. Until then, until he digs down and figures out that I'm the best player on the world right now, I can win any series I want just by me. And then, his supporting cast, let's not forget, is not weak.
No.
It's a solid starting cast.
Offensively, they're amazing.
You're going to have all Hall of Famers on that team for maybe 3 deep.
Right.
But until he wins a series like this, no injuries either way, I can't see him being the great.
I can't. And I think Golden State will win, but I think Cleveland can win too. And if Golden State wins, it's not going to be no sweep. It's not going to be I don't think it'll be a 6-game win. It'll be a 7. It'll go to 7 again. I do.
I just find it really difficult to just bet against LeBron James.
It's hard to now.
Everyone says the Warriors are so stacked. I'm just like, all right.
They're stacked.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Cleveland's got a LeBron James. That's the sad part. They got all these weapons in Golden State, but Cleveland has a LeBron James. What? What is that noise? Oh, shoot. I hear some ducks. It must be time for Duck of the Day. Is it time for Duck of the Day?
It's got to be.
I think that's how we're ending the show today.
Yeah.
Duck of the Day. So if you were with us, we talked about some NBA playoffs, talked about the Spurs, the Warriors, the Cavaliers, the Celtics. We talked about some NFL drama, Colin Kaepernick. We talked about concussions and head injuries being dismissed in court. We also talked about Dixie State softball and baseball. We talked about a few other things. Oh, we talked about Antonio Brown, and we talked about Michael Bennett advocating for Colin Kaepernick. So next week, we're probably going to talk about more playoffs, obviously, but the discussion about LeBron James and Michael Jordan, who's the greatest? We're going to talk about that next week. And where does Kobe fall in this? I feel like Kobe's being jumped over a little bit, but we will get to that next week.
Sounds good.
But until then, we got Duck of the Day. And the Duck of the Day is coming to you by one of the greatest boxers of all time, Roy Jones Jr. We'll see you guys when we see you.